The Enchanted Wood by Enid Blyton. Chapter 11. More and more surprises. There doesn't seem to be anyone here, said Beth, cautiously looking around.
Well, who lighted that candle? Asked Moonface, and his big round face looked anxious. We didn't leave it burning. Suddenly the father bear gave an angry growl and pointed to his chair. Who's been sitting in my chair? He said.
And who's been sitting in my chair? Said Mother Bear, pointing to hers. And who's been sitting in my chair and broken it all to bits? Squeaked the baby bear in tears.
Beth giggled. This sounds like the story of the 3 bears coming true, she said to Franny. They'll talk about porridge next. They did. Who's been eating my porridge? Said Father Bear angrily. And who's been eating my porridge? Said the Mother Bear.
And who's been eating mine and gobbled it all up?
Wept the baby bear, scraping his spoon around the empty plate. It's all very mysterious, said Moonface. Somebody lighted the candle. Somebody sat in the chairs. Somebody ate the porridge. But who?
Oh, not me this time, said Goldilocks. I was with you all the time we were snowballing, wasn't I, Bears?
You certainly were, growled the father bear softly, patting the little girl on her back. He was very fond of her. Well, I wish we had just found poor Joe at least, said Beth. Whatever will he be doing in this horrid cold land?
Oh, do you suppose we ought to go and look for him again? Said Franny, shivering as she thought of the ice-cold wind outside.
No, said Moonface decidedly. No one is going out of this cottage again till we're safely in the wood at home. I'm afraid we can't possibly rescue Joe now.
What's that noise?
Said Goldilocks suddenly. Everybody listened. Someone was snoring softly in the next room. Oh, we never thought of looking there, said Moonface. Who can it be? Shh, said Goldilocks.
If we catch him asleep, we can hold him tight and he won't be able to get away. If he wakes up, he might be fierce. They tiptoed to the bedroom door. One by one, they squeezed through.
Who's been lying in my bed? Said the father bear in a growly voice. Shh, said Moonface crossly. Who's been lying in my bed? Said Mother Bear even louder. Shh, said everyone.
Who's been lying in my bed and is fast asleep still there?
Said Baby Bear. Everyone stared at the cot. Yes, there was someone there, someone covered in white. Was it a polar bear? It's a bear, said Moonface, half frightened. Let's lock him in before he wakes up, before the bear wakes up. Let's lock him in, said the father bear. He might still think we're enemies. They all rushed out of the little room and slammed the door shut with a loud bang, locking it behind them. He's caught, said Moonface joyfully. Now Joe awoke with a jump. Who had locked him in? Had the magic snowman caught him again? He began to shout and bang on the door. And then Beth and Franny stopped. They listened to the shouting and the banging and recognised his voice and yelled out loudly, Moonface! Moonface! It's Joe! It's Joe! It's Joe! Oh, it's Joe! They rushed to the door and unlocked it and flung their arms around Joe. The boy was too astonished to speak. He hugged his sisters. "How did you get here?" he asked. Beth and Franny looked at him. "How did you get here? More to the point," they cried.
"Oh, come into the kitchen and we'll all have some hot porridge and milk," said Goldilocks. "We can talk then and get warm."
So Joe went with the others, all chattering loudly about everything. Goldilocks ladled out porridge into blue bowls and made some hot chocolate. Soon everyone was putting sugar on porridge and drinking the hot chocolate. Joe poured some milk over his porridge and smiled joyfully at everybody. "Oh, what an adventure this has been," he said. "Shall I tell my tale first, or will you tell yours?" He told his, and then Beth told how Moonface had gone to the three bears for their help, and all about the fierce battle that had taken place, the crazy, fierce snowball battle. "Oh, it's a pity about the battle," said the father bear mournfully. "The white bears are cousins of ours and have always been friendly. Now they seem to be enemies."
"Oh, let's hope they don't discover our cottage," said Goldilocks, eating her hot porridge. "Moonface, hadn't we better make some more magic and get back to the wood?"
"Oh, plenty of time, said Moonface, pouring himself another cup of hot chocolate. But you know, there wasn't plenty of time. For just at that moment, Goldilocks gave a scream and pointed to the window. Someone looked in, she said. "Don't be silly," said Moonface. "I'm not," said Goldilocks. "I tell you, somebody looked in. Oh, who can it be?" "Ah, the handle of the door is moving," yelled Moonface, and he leapt to the door. In a flash, he'd locked it and bolted it. Father Bear got up and went to the window. He looked out into the snowstorm, peering out through the snowflakes. "I can't see anything," he said, and then he growled loudly. "Yes, I can. I can see the white bears. They've surrounded our cottage. Oh, now what shall we do?" "Well, they can't get in at the door, and they certainly shan't get in at the window," said Moonface, looking fierce. The door shook, but it held well. Someone battered on it. "We shan't let you in," yelled Joe. "If anybody tries to open the window or break in, I'll throw this kettle at him," shouted Moonface, who was now dancing about, waving the kettle in the air.
"Moonface, that kettle's got hot water in it," said Franny. "Do be careful, you nearly dropped some on me."
"I'll drop it on any bear that dares to come in," yelled Moonface, spattering the room with steaming drops. "Oh dear," said Beth. "Hide behind the bed, Franny. It seems to me that Moonface is almost as dangerous as the bears." Moonface soon realised that they were right, and that waving a hot kettle around was a foolish and very dangerous thing to do. So he put it down again gently. Then the father bear had an idea. He dragged the big table across the room to block the door and stood there. Hearts were racing. Things were getting exciting, but yet Joe and the girls were feeling rather frightened. Oh, but hang on, they also couldn't help but feel terribly thrilled too. Or whatever was going to happen. A pause settled on the room. They watched the door with the big table across it. What was going to happen? "Oomph! Oomph!" boomed the big bears outside, but they couldn't get in at the door or the window. Uh-oh. Guess what, though? Can you remember the story of the 3 little pigs? What did the wolf do when he couldn't get in? How did the wolf get into the three little pigs' house? Well, this was the same idea as those polar bears. They found another way. The chimney was wide and big, for the fireplace was one of those large, old-fashioned kind and needed a wide chimney to house all the flames and all the smoke. One of the bears climbed up on the roof, followed by three more. The first one slipped down the big chimney. Down he went, whoosh! Down went another, whoosh! And then the third and the fourth, and they landed with a crash onto the big hearth and hurriedly jumped away from the flames of the fire. "Surrender!" they cried to the startled children and the bears. "Surrender! The magic snowman is outside. Let him in." And that is the end of chapter 11. So what do you think is going to happen next? Now that the polar bears are inside the house, what do you think they're going to do? What would you do if you were inside that house? What would you do if you were Joe or Beth or Franny or Golidilocks right now? And what do you think the snowman is going to do outside? Do you think he'll ever get in? Do you think the polar bears and the bears will ever be friends again? Well, we'll find out what happens in the next chapter. But that's not until tomorrow.